You take any idea or a concept, it could be a dream too, and you develop it, program it, engineer it, render it, record it, test it, and many more steps, until you have a full-fledged game. This wonderful journey till publishing is called game development. One of the most beautiful work of blending science and art together. A perfect handshake and a platform where the most advanced tech is clubbed with art to deliver a story which can be experienced by oneself by living as a protagonist in a digital medium. It is more like balancing every ingredient to make a perfect cup of tea, which in actual is not everyone's cup of tea. Come along and I will introduce you all with every ingredient that is being used. Let's talk about the very first ingredient, that is planning. Before the writers begin writing, the designers begin designing, and the developers begin developing. An idea for a video game has to surface. This is the very first part of the planning stage, and the roots that every video game will grow from. You must know that you must be aware of your choices. Here it could be the type of game you are going to make, be it 2D, 3D, key features, the target audience if you are not making it for yourself and want people to enjoy it too, platforms and characters in your game. Either you could be making it alone or with a small team, or you may be making it in a big gaming company where you have a big budget. The idea you come up with will serve as the backbone of the entire game. It is what sets the standard for everybody involved with building the game, but also gives publishers a high level of overview of what to expect. This brings us to the next part of development, that is, proofing the concept. Where you all know, what is our estimated cost to develop this game? Do we have the technology capabilities to build it? Will we require a new gaming engine? How big will our team need to be? Are we hiring external voice actors and writers? What is our estimated time frame for launch? How are we monetizing? After figuring that how we gonna move to, there is a phase of pre-production, which is the next stage of game development, called pre-production. Brainstorms how to give life to the many ideas laid out in the planning phase. This is where writers, artists, designers, developers, engineers, project leads, and other crucial departments collaborate on the scope of the video game and where each piece of the puzzle fits. A few examples of this collaboration may look like writers meeting with the project leads to flesh out the narrative of the story. Who are the main characters in this tale? What are their backstories? How does each character relate to one another? Are there loose ends we will need to tie up later? Engineers meeting with writers, letting them know that under the current technology constraints, we cannot fill that environment with 100 characters or the game will crash. Artists meeting with designers to ensure visuals and art styles are consistent and aligned with what was laid out in the planning phase. Developers meeting with engineers to flesh out all the in-game mechanics, physics, and how objects will render on a player's screen. Project leads meeting with multiple departments to figure out the fun factor, which you will find out later isn't as easy to pinpoint until the testing stage. Well, most of the time, effort and resource spent on developing video games are during the production stage. This also happens to be one of the most challenging stages of video game development. During this process, character models are designed, rendered, and iterated on to look exactly how they should be in the story. Audio designs works tirelessly to ensure every time your character steps onto sand, gravel, or cement, it sounds authentic. Level designers craft environments that are dynamic, immersive, and suitable for many types of playstyles. Voice actors read large stacks of scripts, doing take after take to get the right emotion, timing, and tone. Developers write thousands of lines of codes to bring each piece of in-game content to life. Project leads establish milestones and sprint schedules, ensuring each department and its team members are held accountable. This is especially important if a publisher regularly checks in for status updates. These events and more could take years of iterating to get right, and that's assuming only a few changes are made along the way, which is hardly the reality. It takes months and months in development, and then it also becomes necessary to know if the code that is being written is being implemented nicely or working fine or not. Yes, it's time for some tea tasting, or we say, here testing the game.